He was the hero of the pandemic. You should remember that. And that should be something that you recall here. Governor Cuomo was the person that they pointed to as the example. He was the guy that everybody else was supposed to follow in his footsteps when it came to the handling of COVID-19. No other politician received the level of praise heaped upon Andrew Cuomo for his COVID leadership. Remember, President Biden said he was the gold standard in fighting the disease. Back in July, Dr. Fauci said that Cuomo did it correctly, bringing down the curve in New York. Months later, Cuomo even said that he and Fauci could join up to be the Pacino and De Niro of COVID vaccination public service announcements. Cuomo seemed to enjoy his new celebrity status, as did Fauci, by the way. Never shy about getting in front of a camera, little totalitarian Papa Smurf that he is. Cuomo even wrote a book, American Crisis, Leadership Lessons from the COVID-19 Pandemic. Came out in the summer of 2020. COVID was still really ravaging a lot of the country at that point. New York was at a low point, but the Sun Belt was getting hit pretty hard. And as we know, it was before the second wave. Didn't matter. Cuomo was telling a story that the libs wanted to hear. He even won an Emmy for his daily press conferences. Remember that? And during the award ceremony, you had all these celebrities like Spike Lee, Ben Stiller, and Rosie Perez slobbering praise all over the governor. A term popped up for a while last summer, Cuomo-sexuals, to reference his alleged appeal. There was even chatter around the possibility of his late entry into the presidential field while the Democrat primary was still going on. Now we have proof it was all a front. Cuomo not only failed to show heroic leadership during the pandemic, he may well be responsible for the single most disastrous decision of the entire ordeal. His arrogance and monumental stupidity could have condemned hundreds, if not thousands, of high-risk seniors to die unnecessarily from COVID in nursing homes. Cuomo's record, even apart from the nursing home disaster, speaks for itself. Over 15,000 seniors dead in the roughly 600 nursing homes of New York State. Overall, New York has the second highest COVID fatality rate per 100,000 residents of any state in America, second only to New Jersey. To make matters worse, Cuomo tried to cover up the nursing home data. The governor of New York didn't want the American people knowing what an abject disaster he had caused, so he hid it from us, which we now know only because his top aide, Melissa DeRosa, let it slip on that private phone call. They intentionally undercounted deaths by 50% because they didn't want Trump and the DOJ to know what happened during the election season. Cuomo and his team hid the truth from the people of New York and from the country. Why would he do that if there was nothing to hide? The governor currently claims it was only staffers at the nursing home who brought the virus into facilities. That's a very convenient explanation, isn't it? And he's lied on the issue so many times, he has sacrificed all credibility. The whole country is now seeing that Cuomo, as a Democrat governor, was an abject failure on COVID-19 response, but was somehow celebrated in the media for doing a great job. His anti-Trumpness, as you know, was all that really mattered, not his bullying, poor decision-making, or catastrophic failure by the numbers. There's a lesson here, but the Democrats refuse to learn it. Cuomo denies it, and New York and the rest of the country will suffer more as a result. We can't learn the lessons. We can't actually make better decisions going forward if we can't know what has worked and what has failed up to this point. You might be wondering, does Governor Cuomo actually take any responsibility for this? Well, this is perfect. He does indeed, insofar as he accepts responsibility for you thinking he's responsible. He wants to apologize if you have any hurt feelings that you should not have, but he feels badly for you, right? This is a version of I want to apologize to anybody who was offended by my remark, not ever saying that the remarks. He actually goes beyond that, saying my inoffensive remarks, I will apologize if they offended you, even though they're inoffensive. This is the kind of gaslighting, the kind of passive aggressive manipulation you should expect from Governor Cuomo. Play 2. I'm sorry, play 3.
In retrospect, we should have prioritized providing more information. I get the operational demand. I don't like to second guess my team. They were all working 24 hours a day. Remember where this was? You're in the middle of hell during this time. No excuses. No excuses. We should not have created the void. We should have done a better job in providing information. We should have done a better job of knocking down the disinformation. You'd never knock down all these conspiracy theories, the political conspiracy theories, because they generate 10 a day. But we should have done a better job of providing as much information as we could, as quickly as we could. And we should have done a better job on that. Yes. And no excuses. I accept responsibility for that. I am in charge. I take responsibility. We should have provided more information faster. We were too focused on doing the job and addressing the crisis of the moment, and we did not do a good enough job in providing information. I take total responsibility for that.
He takes responsibility, you see, for the public's ignorance of what a great job he was doing. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. He accepts the full weight and burden of the general public's incorrect belief that he messed up. He's sorry, in essence, that he did not explain better to us how awesome he is. That's on him. I mean, this guy, it's amazing. You almost have to marvel at it. To be so full of crap, to be so dishonest, to be such an incompetent, vain bully, getting his Emmy, writing his book. Why did his top aides say that they were hiding data from Trump and the DOJ during the election? Oh, no, because they didn't want Trump to find out what a great job he had done, I guess. They didn't want the Department of Justice, while there was a Republican president, getting any insight into just what had happened in the nursing homes in New York. And remember this, even if what he's saying now, his new story is that that was all the staff, the 9,000 seniors that he sent into nursing homes, the 9,000 seniors he sent into nursing homes who were COVID positive, they weren't a risk for some reason. We can't explain that through science, of course. But the staff walking in was the only reason there were all these deaths. Play 2.
We have 613 nursing homes in the state. 365 received a person from a hospital. Of the 365 that received a person from this March 25th guidance, which was then superseded in May, 98% of those 365 already had COVID in their facility. COVID did not get into the nursing homes by people coming from hospitals. COVID got into the nursing homes by staff walking into the nursing home when we didn't even know we had COVID. Staff walking into a nursing home even though they were asymptomatic, because the national experts all told us you could only spread COVID if you had symptoms. And they were wrong. COVID may have been brought into a nursing home because visitors brought it in and didn't know they were contagious, because the guidance was you can only be contagious if you have symptoms, if you're sneezing, if you're coughing. That turned out to be wrong.
You know what else we should look at here? The science. Let's do that for a moment. He's claiming that because there was COVID in these nursing homes, it didn't matter if there were additional people with COVID sent into the nursing homes. Does that make sense to any of you? Let's say you got a nursing home, 500 people there. You have 5 staff members who all have COVID, and they're starting to spread it. Would it make things worse if you put 15 seniors with COVID in the mix too? Yes, it would. So the claim that it was only staffers, which is what he's saying, that's just absurd. But it doesn't matter. It works, doesn't it? People will listen to him. They just look at this guy and they say, he has such a command of the facts, and he's just such a great Democrat. He really helped us beat Trump. People still believe this guy. What's so terrifying. And in California, they've at least woken up to the fact that Newsom is a flimsy phony. But in New York, there are people that cling to this vision of Andrew Cuomo, perhaps because of his dad, Mario, because, the Cuomos, New York, the power, all this stuff. They still believe this guy is not the worst governor in America, and they're just delusional at this point.
Hey, Team Buck, thank you so much for watching The First on YouTube. If you like this video, please click that little thumbs up button so then it will log as liked. And also, if you want to see more great content from The First, please click subscribe.